Hola chicos! Today's lesson is going to be about stem changing verbs. These are also something that we call boot verbs. This is just one category of them. This is our O to UE and U to UE stem changing verbs. Mañana y pasado mañana we'll get to a couple more categories. What do we mean by stem changing? Well, first of all, we need to answer the question, what's a stem? A stem is all the parts of the verb, all the parts of the infinitive that don't involve the AR, ER, or the IR. So jugar, our stem is jug, and everything else is AR, that's our ending. Poder, our stem is pod, and everything else is our ending, ER. Dormir, our stem is dorm, and everything else is ER, IR, that is our ending. When we have the change take place inside the boot, jugar is going to have a U change to UE. Poder and dormir are going to have an O change to UE. So you have your paper there with you. The first thing I want you to do is press pause, and I want you to write jugar as the first verb in the chart at the top. When you do that, now you're going to look at the type of the verb ending that you have. In this case, this is an AR verb. So you can press pause and write in your endings, or you can go along and write them with me. We've got o, as, a, amos, ais, an. This is a part that we know already. And AR, ER, and IR verbs, they are still going to have this information apply. From there, you notice that there are some parentheses out after the verb jugar, the U to UE. That tells you that you've got a boot verb. So that means that your next step after writing in your endings is to draw or shade your boot. So here's what we mean by the boot. It's going to go around these forms right here. So it goes around all the singular forms and then third person plural form, the ellos, ellas, and ustedes. It leaves out the nosotros and the vosotros forms. So if you haven't done this already, pause the video and shade in the lines around the boot on your own chart or highlight them in a different color. Okay, so you'll notice it's called a boot verb because it kind of has the shape of a boot. It looks like that. Inside the boot, that is where your U is going to change to UE for the verb jugar. So normally I would say jugo, but jugo is juice, and I want to say I play. So we're going to say juego. If I didn't have a stem changing verb, I'd say jugas, but I don't want to do that. I want to change the U to UE inside the boot, so I'm going to say juegas. Inside the boot, we're going to change it to juega. Now, outside the boot, it stays just as my stem jug. No change there. It's outside the boot, stays as jugamos, jugais. And now for the ellos, ellas, ustedes form, we're going back inside the boot, and so it's going to change to juegan. So I have the stem change take place in all the forms inside the boot. On your own paper, I want you to go and highlight the U to UE stem change that takes place in all the forms of the boot. You can pause the video if you need to. Now let's take a look at an O to UE verb. I want you to pause the video and write the verb poder as the second verb, the second chart. Now take a look at the ending. It's not an AR verb this time. Now it's an ER verb. So you need to add in these endings. O, S, E, hemos, eis, en. Okay. It has an O to UE stem change there. You can see that in parentheses given after the verb poder. So that means you need to draw or shade in your boot. Pause the video to do that if you need to. And now it should take the boot form. We're going to add in the O to UE change. Not puedo, puedo. Not podes, puedes. You might remember a song from last year. Puedes ir de pesca conmigo, contigo, conmigo. No, I think I got that wrong. It's okay. Puedo, puedes, puede. Outside the boot, we're going to go back to pod, podemos, podéis. And then back inside the boot, we're going to have the O change to UE, pueden. All right. So I want you to pause and go and highlight your change from O to UE in all the forms inside the boot. Our last verb that we're going to work with for today in this video is dormir. Write that into your third chart. Notice it ends in IR, so we're going to add in the IR endings. OSE, imosis en. That doesn't change. That's the part that we know, that we should know really well, those endings for AR, ER, and IR verbs. Now we notice that it has parentheses that have the O to UE, so we're going to change. We're going to make sure to draw out our boot and make the changes inside the boot. So we've got duermo, duermes, duerme. Back outside the boot, it goes back to dorm. Dormimos, dormis, duermen. So I want you to pause and go and highlight all the changes that took place inside the boot. So you might ask yourself, how do you know which verbs are boot verbs? So for now, we're going to provide that information to you. We teachers are going to show you these verbs have parentheses and what type of change actually takes place. Jugar, poder, dormir, almorzar, costar, cuánto cuesta. Volver, probar, contar, encontrar. Those are a few U to UE or O to UE verbs. As of right now, this is the end of the video. You need to keep going with paso dos on your paper and paso tres as well. Write in the endings in the chart. Draw out your boot. Write the stem for each of the verbs in their charts and highlight the stem change that takes place in each verb. All right, hasta mañana.